Breakups hurt less as you get better and better at choosing people. A lot of people in general aren't very good at choosing romantic partners. They're just not, because it's not something that's taught in school, and most people don't really work on themselves much. And if you don't work on yourself, it's going to be difficult for you to be able to analyze other people and to figure out when someone is actually a good match for you. So, since these things aren't generally taught, most people aren't great at this. So I'm going to share with you a few tips to get good at this and why it's so important and how it can lead to breakups hurting way less. And I should clarify, when I say breakup here, I don't necessarily just mean a breakup from a relationship, basically just the end of you spending time with someone, because not every great person you meet will turn into a relationship. But even if you've dated someone for like 3 months, it can still hurt to see them go out of your life because you build connections during that time frame. But anyway, so the 3 main qualities that I want to share with you that you should pay attention to when dating other people to help you choose people who are better fits for you are emotional maturity, self-awareness, and the person being happy on their own. Those 3 qualities are basically what I've come to realize are like the most important things to seek out in other people, because if they have those things, it kind of tells you they're going to be far more mature than the average person. And maturity is like the most important thing. That's what you want to find when you're dating people. You want to find that they're actually a mature person. And no, that doesn't mean they're not going to be fun or anything like that. And come on, maturity is just awesome. It's like the best thing possible. It doesn't mean they're going to be super serious or they're not going to know how to have fun in the bedroom. In fact, mature people may know a few things, so you never know. It's usually mature people are the best partners in general. So that's what you want to be paying attention to, seeing how mature someone is. And you need to go beyond surface level things. Most people choose their romantic partners based on looks and chemistry, but those things aren't very important because, well, one, looks, I mean, that's only as important as you being attracted to them enough to want to do things with them in the bedroom. But beyond that, looks don't matter all that much. And the other thing, chemistry. Chemistry isn't the be-all and end-all either, because you can have a ton of chemistry with someone who is completely toxic. I mean, you just go on Reddit or anywhere on the internet and you'll find plenty of stories of people talking about the amazing chemistry they had with a toxic ex. So you need more than chemistry. Chemistry is not enough. You need to be able to analyze someone with a clear mind and ask yourself if they're genuinely good for you. Always be asking yourself that when you're dating people. Treat it kind of like, I want to say job interviews, but most people don't even handle job interviews the way that I do and how I realize it. But you want to be vetting them pretty much. Most people go to job interviews and they're trying to impress the company and whatnot. I go to job interviews and I want to make sure the company is a place I actually want to work at. So that's the way you should treat your relationships as well. Don't be asking yourself, do they like me, or am I impressing them? Instead, be asking yourself, do I like them? Because, well, and beyond that, are they good for me? Because it's just so important. You need to analyze your partners with a clear mind. I mean, if you're just going for short-term dating, that's one thing, but still be very careful doing that. I mean, I've covered in quite a few prior videos about how there are just some psychological consequences to sleeping around, so be careful if you're not ready for something long-term. I'd still say for the most part, seek people who you can create deep connections with, even if it's short, but yeah, just play it safe. But if you are looking for something more long-term, then you really need to make sure that these people are actually good matches for you. So look beyond all those surface level things and take the time to genuinely analyze if this person could actually fit into your life and if they'd be a good influence on your life. And if the answer is no, don't get into a relationship with them. No matter how much you like them, no matter how much fun you have with them, don't get into a relationship with them, because you know it's going to end then. And if they lack those 3 qualities that I mentioned earlier, the odds of them hurting you are going to be high. So be very careful. This is something that's, I think about it a lot because people tend to really fear breakups, and I never really have, because for the most part, I mean, I still made mistakes, but for the most part, I have been somewhat decent at knowing when a woman is actually going to be a good partner for me. Versus, I mean, obviously, all of us have made mistakes when growing up and learning, but yeah, I mean, breakups aren't this super scary thing when you get better at choosing the right people for you, because mature people in general are not going to want to hurt you. They're just not, and that's going to guide their actions. So if they know that things are going to end with you, they'll find a way to do it that isn't going to hurt you as much. Whereas people who are just, the average person, they're not going to do that. They're going to be more concerned about themselves, going to be a little bit self-centered, and they're going to be thinking about their own feelings and not so much yours. So that's situations where people can break up with you over text or something lame like that that's impersonal, or they could even ghost you, as now that's a fan favorite by people who haven't worked on themselves. And yeah, there are just other ways where average people will hurt you. So this is why you want to vet the people that you're dating, to make sure they've actually worked on themselves some, so that they're not an average person. Because, I mean, no offense to the average person, but I mean, you want to go beyond the bell curve, towards the right of the bell curve, where things are, getting better. You don't want to be in the middle of it, or, God forbid, to the left of it. You just want to find people who've actually taken the time to improve themselves, to grow, to become better human beings. Because these are the people who just aren't going to mess you up when the relationship with them ends. They're going to, as much as possible, strive to come to mutual understanding and just not hurt you. I mean, it's actually interesting. The more often you date mature people, you'll probably notice a bit of a trend where quite often things end not because there was any incompatibility between the two of you, like personality-wise, but more so because of logistics, where maybe one of them is just got a job in a new place and now they have to move away, and there's this huge distance between the two of you, and maybe one or both of you know that a long distance relationship isn't going to work, so that would lead to it ending. But that's not the most hurtful way, because it's not ending because there's something wrong with you. It's ending because you just know long distance relationship wouldn't work. And I know some people would say maybe that's worse than the person not liking you. I completely disagree. So I would much rather things end due to logistics than anything else. Sure, it sucks, but at least if somehow in the future you were able to be closer to each other again, hey, that spark is still going to be there. But if things end due to the person losing interest in you, or not liking certain aspects of you, or maybe they even start becoming unhealthy in their habits and whatnot, in that way, you kind of know that there's nothing there with that person in the future. That can hurt more. But if you know that the door is still kind of open because it was due to logistics, that's not as bad. So hopefully you follow me on that. And I know that can open a whole can of worms as well, because yeah, I mean, obviously, if you do enter into a new relationship with somebody else, and you want to make sure those open doors are, for the most part, shut during those time periods. So you shouldn't just keep a whole backlog of people in other areas that you could immediately jump into a relationship with. That wouldn't be cool. But hopefully you follow my train of thought here. For the most part, if things end due to logistics, it's not going to hurt as much. Because that's just kind of like life getting in the way, as opposed to there being something wrong with you or something wrong with them, which can be a bit more hurtful. And especially one thing that happens when a relationship ends due to logistics is there's no real fight or drama in the ending, right? Like, some relationships can end in horrible ways, like screaming and yelling and cussing, and well, that's more like if you, yet again, are dating people who haven't worked on themselves. That's not going to happen in a situation where it's due to logistics. And another thing I should mention that falls into logistics is just you both realizing that you're going down different life paths. Sometimes things just aren't going to work out with someone because you have different goals in life. Maybe you want to start a family and this other person who's mature that you really like doesn't. That would be grounds for the relationship ending, even though you both have a strong connection and really like each other. There's no future there. You want a family and they don't, it's not going to work. Or maybe they want to be an entrepreneur and work, I don't know, it's like 12 hours every day, and maybe you want them to be around more often to spend more time with you, so you know it's not going to work with you. There's so many different ways that we can just kind of drift apart by going down different life paths, and that's okay. It doesn't, even that doesn't hurt as much as breakups with the average person who just aren't going to care as much about your feelings and not trying to hurt you. So hopefully you follow my logic here, my way. I mean, I understand there are probably people out there who are going to think that these scenarios are worse than just a normal breakup, but I mean, I don't know. I disagree on that, but I get we don't all think the same way, so I'm open to that. This logic isn't going to hold up for everyone, but hopefully it's been helpful to you in some regard. Hopefully you can see what I'm driving at here. But anyway, that's pretty much all I have for you in this video, how it is interesting that the more that you work on choosing better partners, breakups just aren't going to hurt as much because you're choosing people who are going to care about you enough to not want to hurt you. And like I said, quite often when both partners are mature enough, things usually just end due to logistics because you both really like each other enough. And if you both work on each other or work on yourselves and you're both healthy, or should I say, you've both created a healthy relationship together, then usually logistics is the only thing that's going to end the relationship, because otherwise you would stay together, right? I mean, if you're both really working on yourselves and you're both committed to the relationship, to making things work over time, putting in effort and so on and so forth, the only thing that really would come between that is logistics. So, or, well, remember, different life paths falls under that, so yeah. But anyway, I don't know what to say anymore. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like content like this, be sure to subscribe for more. Otherwise, like the video. That's the easiest way you can help me out. And let me know your thoughts on this. I'm really curious to see what you have to say. So yeah, let me know what you think of this video. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Arrivederci!